You might agree with what I'm about to say in this video. You might disagree. You might not care at all. In any case, let me know what you think. Because I'm generally interested in hearing other people's takes on this. The comment section is for you, not for me. So please leave a comment. Anyway, I've heard some people suggest that Doctor Who is a children's show and that it shouldn't be judged with whatever criteria adults use to gauge good storytelling. I've heard the same thing about Star Wars movies. The intended audience is children, not adults, and I should look at the show or movie through a different filter than my adult eyes and adult mind. Well, this raises some questions for me. What is a children's show? Are the viewers actually children? Are these shows actually being made for that younger demographic? And does being labeled a children's show shield the offering from criticism, make it somehow immune to narrative expectations? Let's start by looking at two rating systems for recommended viewer ages. First, the Motion Picture Association of America, or MPAA. When I was growing up, it looked like this. G, general audience, all ages permitted. PG, parental guidance suggested for preteens. R, restricted, no one under 17 without a parent or adult guardian. X, no one under 17, period. Now, general or G-rated doesn't mean for kids. It means the movie doesn't have sensitive or adult themes and is suitable for younger viewers while still being aimed at older viewers as well. It is not specifically designed to appeal to children. It might be more accurate to call this family viewing fare. Now, back then, what fell under the PG umbrella covered a lot of territory. So I think kids in the 80s who got to see PG films saw a lot more than kids today who see PG films. This is because the violence or gore in some films in that day, like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, or Gremlins, or the sexual innuendo of Octopussy, raised some eyebrows about what was appropriate for younger viewers and especially for kids in elementary school. Thus, in 1984, a new rating was introduced in North America, PG-13. While children under 13 were still allowed entry, parents were warned that material in the film might be inappropriate for that age group, the under 13 group. It was basically just a label. There was no barrier to entrance. But I'm sure that a lot of parents thought twice about letting their elementary school-aged kids go to movies with that rating. Then, in 1990, X was renamed NC-17 with the same restrictions that X had. X was usually applied to more pornographic fare, and studios and producers didn't like the X label being put on their non-pornographic films. Then, after that, the age limit was raised to 18. So we now have G, PG, PG-13, R, and NC-17. R requires an accompanying adult. NC-17 blocks kids altogether. G, PG, and PG-13 don't block anyone. They're just recommendations. So R requires an accompanying adult, but people under 18 can go. NC-17, nobody 17 or under can go. Only people 18 and older. Using this system, we could imagine that true children's productions would have to fall under the G category, as even PG and PG-13 come with suggested guidance. Now, the other system, which I prefer due to its flexibility and contextual considerations, the BBFC, or British Board of Film Classifications, rating system. It looks like this. U, universal, suitable for audiences aged 4 and over. This fare might actually include mild language if used very sparingly, mild violence, and mild sexual references. This is analogous to the G rating, I suppose. PG, parental guidance. Such fare should not unsettle children aged 8 or older. Scenes may be unsuitable for viewers younger than that, but entry is not prohibited. 12A, suitable for those aged 12 and over. Viewers under 12 must be accompanied by an adult. Entry is prohibited. Another rating, 12, without the A, seems to be for home video, blocking rental or purchase under the age of 12. 15. No one under the age of 15 can see the film in a theater, nor can they buy or rent the film. 18. Adults only. No one under 18 is allowed to buy a ticket, rent or purchase home media, etc. R18. Adults only, and only available in specially licensed theaters or shops. I guess this would be your pornography. The BBFC uses a wider range of ratings with clear prohibitions based on age for several categories. They also exercise some leniency for language, violence, and sex, depending on the amount and severity. For example, Made in Dagenham was rated R, or NC-17, in the USA, mainly for the number of F-bombs. No one under 18 was allowed to see the movie. In the UK, the BBFC rated it as 15 due to the context of those F-bombs. 15-year-olds and older could see it. The idea that kids of a certain age would never have heard that word around the house or in daily life at some point is preposterous, and the BBFC recognizes that. The word was used to express anger or to express shock or frustration, and that is something that was okay for 15 and older. In the States, only above 18. Another question: how should we define child? Both systems seem to set a line at 13, which is roughly when young people enter secondary education, so that would be grade 7 in North America. It also denotes becoming a teenager. The BBSC also has some lines at 4 years old and 8 years old. So I think somewhere during elementary school, the maturity and interests of young people start to differ widely from preschool-aged youngsters. Viewers under 13 can't all be painted with the same brush. So can we agree that a child, for our discussion, can loosely be considered a preteen? So using these criteria, the MPAA rating system, the BBFC rating system, and this definition of child, preteen, we could assume that true children's fare should fall under only G or U and PG. Anything else potentially blocks younger children from seeing the film. Now we have some criteria that we can use to judge Doctor Who in its current form. Now, I admit that when it started in 1963, Doctor Who was intended as an educational program safe for the whole family to watch together, but it changed to something more mature and more interesting, less educational, in my opinion, not many years afterwards, and is now far from what it was when it originally started. That's 62 years ago, well over half a century. We can also look at the assorted Star Wars movies to see if they can truly be considered children's fare. Now, speaking of Star Wars, before I get into that, I should acknowledge what George Lucas said. It was supposed to be a kids' movie for 12-year-olds that were going through puberty, who don't know what they're doing and are asking all the big questions. What should I be worried about? What's important in life? And Star Wars has all those things in there. They're buried in there, but you definitely get it, especially if you're young. Now, he said 12-year-olds. Doesn't sound like a simple G or U to me. So, let's look at Doctor Who. The finale of last season, a two-parter made up of The Legend of Ruby Sunday and Empire of Death, was rated by the BBFC as, drumroll, 12A. Not suitable for viewers under the age of 12. in theaters must be accompanied by an adult if it were released theatrically. That being said, last year's Christmas special was rated as PG, but that's a Christmas special, definitely falling under the umbrella of family viewing. In fact, most of Doctor Who seems to fall under PG or 12, making it very family friendly, but nothing is a U or a G, looking at mostly the British rating system. In North America, Doctor Who usually seems to be rated PG or TV PG, but HBO Max considers it TV 14, which corresponds with PG 13. Can we call Doctor Who a children's show? Or is it family viewing with themes and scenes that might unsettle younger children? Is it designed for kids like Barney, Sesame Street, or Mr. Rogers? Or is it cautious about its contents in order to appeal to a wide range of ages? Let's look at Star Wars. First, BBFC. The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, The Return of the Jedi, The Empire Strikes Back. All PG, according to the BBFC. The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, Rogue One, Solo. The BBFC says 12. Revenge of the Sith, 12A. The original Star Wars, now known as A New Hope, was U. For the MPAA, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, all rated PG. Remember, PG-13 didn't exist yet for the original trilogy. George Lucas and Fox were wary of A New Hope getting a G rating because they felt that older children, maybe those 12-year-olds George mentioned, might not think a G rating was cool. And that seems to be one reason Star Wars films are PG or higher, the cool factor. Revenge of the Sith, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, Rogue One, Solo, all PG-13. And I think most of Star Wars would be PG-13 had it come out when that rating existed. Can we consider those kids' movies, after all? Here's my take on all of this. If the film or TV show is truly designed for children, it will earn a G or U rating. This means the whole family can watch it together with no worry about traumatizing the youngest viewers. If guidance is recommended for viewers under 13, or if entry is barred for that age range, it is not designed for children. I saw Invasion of the Body Snatchers in 1978 when I was probably 9, maybe 10. It was rated PG at that time, as there was no PG-13 yet, but it had brief nudity, it had mature language, and it had horrific scenes in it that are still very effective today. If you haven't seen The Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 1978 version, definitely watch it. Now, I saw it in Canada, and as I mentioned, it was PG, but the BBFC called it 15. So while I was able to see it in Canada, I would not have been allowed entry in the UK. Just because I could see it does not mean it was a children's movie targeting elementary school kids by any means. It just meant that in Canada, I was allowed to buy a ticket. So is it okay to say that children's entertainment is, at the least, something that earns a G or U rating? I guess so. Do Doctor Who and Star Wars fall under that label? I guess not. Children can watch them, just as I could watch The Invasion of the Body Snatchers. But I wager those shows and movies, Star Wars toys aside, are not designed for children or specifically targeting kids. And even if they were, I don't think such a label should make them immune from adult analysis or critique. Kids, even very young ones, can spot plot holes, faulty logic, bad writing. So efforts should be made to provide kids with stories that don't insult their intelligence. if kids can sit still for 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours, they have enough of an attention span to notice plot holes, surely. This is my conclusion. Children, as applied to film ratings, means preteen. Among preteens, there are widely different interests and levels of maturity at different ages, with 4 years old, of course, being very different from 10 or 11 or 12. There are rating systems in place to warn parents about and supposedly protect viewers of certain ages from topics and images that might traumatize or unsettle these youngsters. True children's programming falls into a very narrow category, and Doctor Who and Star Wars are not in that category. As I said at the start of the video, if you agree or disagree or have other ideas, experiences, opinions, information, please leave a comment. I would love to read it. And if you're so inclined, please consider subscribing to my channel for more videos on entertainment of all kinds. And if you found this video interesting, informative, or entertaining in any way, please leave a like to let me know. Thank you for watching. See you next time.